reason, I'm sitting in peace and then I have a massive brain dump, but it's a good brain dump and it's something that I need to get off my chest in hopes that it might help anyone out there who's struggling with mental health. As some of you know, I obviously lost my mum 5 years ago and I'm still heavily affected by it now. It was a very traumatizing time for me. I watched her die, and it still lives with me now to this day. My brain remembers every little bit of that time where I was in the hospital, the smell, the words, the noises, how I felt. My brain literally remembers everything. And one thing that I've learned about trauma is that it rewires your brain, and changes the way you look at survival. So over these past 5 years, I've had hypnotherapy, talking therapy, EMDR therapy, to try and remove as much trauma from my brain as possible, to try and relink it. But I would say some of it's worked, but there are still times where there's a lot that my brain remembers, and yeah, it's quite tough living like this. So what I have learned is the amygdala, which is the alarm system in your brain, it becomes hypersensitive, and that's why you have triggers. And these triggers can be set off by absolutely anything. It could be a song, it could be a comment, it could be a smell, it could be anything that your brain associates with the trauma that you dealt with before. And the triggers are basically telling your brain that if it's happened before, it can happen again, which actually is why I always think now, one of my main problems and main anxiety issues and what gives me panic attacks is I always think someone around me is going to die. I either think I'm going to die or I think someone around me is going to die. And I think because my brain has witnessed someone close to me dying, it keeps thinking that that's what's going to happen again. So any slight little issue with me, if I have a cold, if I'm sick, or my worst is if I'm hungover. I mean, I used to get hangovers all the time, but these now, I instantly think something really bad is going to happen. I think that I'm going to die. If something happens to my children, I don't know, they fall and they hurt themselves, or they might have an infection, I instantly want to go to the hospital because I just think something bad's going to happen. It is honestly exhausting living like this. I joke that I'm a hypochondriac, and my poor husband, who has to live with it, he must think, oh my God, what the hell? But to be honest, he listens to me and he believes me, because in that time, my mind can't tell the difference. So as much as he is thinking and knowing that it's all rational and it's okay and that my child is just falling off the bed, he's not going to need to go to hospital or whatever, my brain cannot. So the trigger point and the trauma has switched off the context side of my brain. So that side of my brain doesn't work. When I'm in that state of panic, I can't rationalize, I can't see logic, I can't see reason. And that's not me being stubborn, that's literally my brain just switching everything else off, and it goes straight into panic mode because that's everything that it just remembers. So I actually also think this is how panic attacks happen, because the context side of your brain is switched off, so you cannot reason, and your body just all shuts down because it's preserving your energy and your organs, and it's directing the blood flow to your correct organs that it might need when you feel like you've got to escape. So if your body feels like it's in a fight or flight and you don't know what you've got to do, your body just turns everything off and gives you the energy for what your body thinks that it needs to do to escape that moment, which is actually quite frustrating, but it's also quite powerful. So I've learned a lot about our brains in the last 5 years. Prior to my mum's death, I'd never ever suffered this badly with mental health before, but now I understand why. I'm still learning about why my brain does this. My brain still needs rewiring to go back to how I was before, but we're a long way off yet, and that's okay. Like, you just need patience. But yeah, anyway, where I was going with that is when you are in a state of panic, there's nothing you can do. You just need to try and control your brain, try and tell your brain that you're safe, and that nothing bad's going to happen. But actually, when you're in that moment and you're trying to tell yourself that, it's one of the hardest things that you have to do. And normally when people suffer with panic attacks, they normally have a safe place or like a safe person. Or this is embarrassing, and it happened to me last week. I went out with my main girl group. We just went for a meal, and out of nowhere, I don't even know what caused it. I don't even think it was a smell or a reminder. I don't even know what it was. I'd finished my food, and all of a sudden this panic just came over me. I tried to sit with it for a while because I thought, well, these are my 5 best friends, like they know what I've gone through. It's okay if I just sit here and sit with it. They'll understand. But trying to control my brain in that moment was really, really difficult. And I couldn't get past the stage of not feeling safe. I was in my local restaurant, 10 minutes from home, and I for some reason I just couldn't feel safe. So I literally couldn't even speak properly. I had to just tell them I had to go, and I had to just rush home. I didn't even pay for my meal on that night. I just had to go. It was just really embarrassing, really frustrating, because actually I'd been really looking forward to this night out with my friends. But yeah, it just comes on out of nowhere and you cannot control it. But luckily I've got a really good group of friends and family around me that understand that if that happens, that I just need my space. And yeah, I needed to go home. My home is my safe space. My husband is my safe space. I remember having a panic attack on holiday this year just gone, and I had to lie with my ear touching, like feeling his heartbeat. And that calmed me down. It's all things that you will learn to cope with. It's annoying that we do have to cope with this when a trauma has happened, but learning so much about my brain is just magic, and we don't realize how powerful we are and what our brains are built for. It is frustrating that my brain takes me right back to that hospital room every time something little minor inconvenience happens at home, and my brain just takes me right back to the hospital room. However, I am learning to work at it basically, and it's not happening as often as it was. When I had my breakdowns, it was constant. It was for weeks, well, for days. I would have panic attacks all day, every day, bedridden. But now it's like once in a blue moon, which is amazing progress. So yeah, it's been 5 years, and hopefully as the time goes on, it gets less and less and less, and then hopefully I can rewire my brain to go right back to the very beginning, where I didn't suffer with any of this trauma. It will always be with me, but hopefully I can learn to take charge and control. But yeah, just know that you're not a failure, and our brains are really powerful.